Hello everyone, I'm Golden and welcome to my channel Design with Golden. I make beginner friendly design tutorials here, and in today's video we'll be seeing how to use layer masks as a pro. So we'll be seeing the advantages of layer masks over clipping masks. And in the end of this tutorial rather, we should be able to create a very nice profile picture kind of pop-out effect. I'll show you how that will look later on. So let's get into it. To start with, I'm just going to do a brief lesson on layer masks and how they work. So to find the layer mask icon in Photoshop, you will look down at the bottom right of your screen, and then you should see this third icon here. It has a circle inside it, and that's the layer mask icon. So what does it do? Well, if I were to create a new layer, so in this instance we're using the background layer, and I press the button, what it does is it has created a mask, and with this mask I can hide certain things. So let me undo that, and then we're going to just get a brush. So you could do that by pressing B on your keyboard, or going to the left here and selecting brush, and then select the soft round brush. If you don't see this, please go to window and then brushes, and then you should be able to see that. So select a soft round brush. Um, for this example, let's increase the opacity to so we can see what we're really doing. And then I'm going to use a black brush and just paint over the screen like this. Okay, I think I'm going to increase the opacity all the way and also the flow. So we've created this. So now on your screen we have a white background with a black um, brush stroke on it. But what happens if I create a mask with this? So once again, I click the mask icon at the bottom to add a layer mask, and at first you see that nothing changes. However, if I switch my brush, so currently my foreground color is white and my background color is black. To change it, you could just press X on your keyboard, or press this arrow pointing to the left and to the bottom. So that should switch it. So let our black color be the foreground now. And then if I to paint on it, you see it's making it transparent. Now, why is that so? Let's undo that. Layer mask are a fancy way of hiding certain things in a layer. So imagine this, you have a design and you want to hide something, probably for the time being or throughout the design, but you don't necessarily want to delete it. So there'll be times like this where you have to create some designs where you have to hide certain things, or hide maybe you're making a selection, you have to hide some certain things. Layer masks come very handy in those. And always remember this, please. White reveals, black hides. Once again, white reveals and black hides. So let's try that again. This time around, we'll be using a shape. So create a new layer by clicking the plus icon next to the bin icon there at the bottom of your screen. And then let's just press M on the keyboard. That should bring out the rectangular marquee tool. You could see it is the second tool on your toolbar by the left, or you can right click and select rectangular marquee tool. Hold shift or to create a perfect square, and then make sure this is on a new layer, and then we're just going to fill it in. So there are different ways to fill in Photoshop. You could right click and press fill, and then you could select let's say foreground color. Since our foreground color is black, you could do that, and then it fills it with that color. But you could also just do alt backspace. So alt backspace fills any selection with your current foreground color, which in our case is black, or Control Backspace, on the other hand, fills with our background color. So since we want to fill with black, we use Alt Backspace. And then to cancel our selection, you could just right click and select, deselect, or you could use the shortcut Control D or Command D on Mac. So let's say we want to hide a certain part of this circle. So let's create another selection, this time still with the rectangular marquee tool, but we're going to use a nested tool under it. So right click on it and select the elliptical marquee tool. And then once again, towards the bottom of the square that we just created, let's hold shift and drag across, and you should create a perfect circle. Once that is done, with the selection active, you should see these matching ants. Matching ants are these dotted lines that signify where your current selection is. And then with that selected, just click on the layer mask. Wow, did you see what just happened? So let's do that again. Let's do that again. So we click the layer mask, and then you see that our square is no longer a square. It's only a part of it that's here, and it's in the shape of our circle ellipse selection. But what happened to the rest of the square, you might ask? Was it deleted? Well, not so. It's just hidden from view. So if you look at the layer mask thumbnail on the right, you should see a chain link to it. That means our layer and the layer mask are connected. Layer mask is linked to layer, and then you will see in the layer mask, it's mainly filled with black. That means it's hiding mostly everything, but revealing just one thing, which is that selection of the ellipse that we used earlier. So let's say we want to reveal the other parts of this square. What do we do? Remember what I said earlier? White reveals and black hides. So let's select white as our foreground color, and then make sure that you're on the mask. So make sure that the mask has this outline around it, and then just paint with white over it, and then you gradually bring everything in. You see? So let's try again. You could switch the colors again. So let's try something X to switch back to black. It hides. So in a way, it's like a disappearing act. And then white again, and we bring back everything. So it's a fancy way of hiding things. Why not necessarily deleting them from the view? We could always come back to make refined changes. And this is very important because there are certain occasions where you do not want to delete those pixels, because once they're gone, they're gone. You just want to hide them and probably make modifications to it later. That's one reason. So with this in mind, we're going to use a practical example now with an image. This image right here. I got this image from FreePic. FreePic is a website where you can get very nice images, mostly for free, high quality images too. So in this case, we want to create a very nice profile picture kind of view, but with a pop-out effect. So we're going to have like a circle behind her. So remember, we're going to have a circle behind her. We're going to use something like blue, just so it stands out. So we're going to have a circle behind her. However, some part of her is going to be inside the circle, but the upper part of her head is going to be outside. Now you may be wondering, how is that possible? Well, let's just bring this image, and also if you need the link of this image, I'm going to drop it in the description. The first link in the description, and you should be able to find it here. So I'm just going to copy this image. So we've brought in the image, Control T to transform, or you could go to or you could go to edit and then transform, and or free transform, and then you should be able to get the same thing. So we're going to zoom out since the image is quite large, and then just resize it. So with our image resize, you could fit to view by using Control 0, and that should fit it into view. So we have to remove the background of this lady because we need the mask of the shape. So to do that, let's go to you select the quick one tool or quick selection tool. That should be W. You should want to press W, or you see this icon here on your toolbar, which is the fourth. You should see option, selection tool, quick select tool, and the magic one. So any of these work. Just select quick selection tool, and then depending on your version of Photoshop, you are going to have this select subject. So you could just use that, and Photoshop will automatically use its AI to detect the person and try its best to select the person's silhouette. So let's wait a moment while that happens. Okay, so our shape has been selected. Now we just have to mask her away from the background. So remember what we said earlier, with your selection active, all you have to do is just press the layer mask icon here, and that should create a mask of the lady right here. So you see the background is gone, but the lady remains just like this. So with this done, we have to create another layer, and this is where we create our circle. So first off, I'm just going to select the shade of blue or the color for the background. I don't think I'll do. Okay, let's do something like a purple. Um, kind of bright but not too bright, so it stands out. Okay, and next we're going to use a shape tool. So the shape tool is here. You can press U on your keyboard for the rectangle tool, and if you right click on it, you should be able to select the ellipse tool. And with the shape tool, you can create vector shapes and are crisp, and you could easily edit. So holding shift on your keyboard to create a perfect circle, you click and drag. So I think this is good enough, this shape. And then this is the circle. So in essence, what we want is to drag this circle first behind her. For now, how do we do that? We could just use your mouse to click and drag under the current layer until you see this bluish line, and that means you could just place a layer under there. Or what you could do is use control and the left bracket key, and that should move it down. So with that done, what we have to do now is place this lady inside this circle, inside this circle. So how do we do that? So this is what we're going to do, right? First off, first off, with this shape, we click, we could click the lady's mask. So on the mask there, on the shape itself, if you want to, we have to make a selection out of this shape. So what we could do is control click on the thumbnail, and that should load the circle as a selection. So you see the selection is around the circle. And then on the lady's mask itself, what we could do is use our brush tool. So we're going to go for a hard round brush, with 0% opacity and 0% flow. And for this, you can zoom in. There's a quicker way to do this, but since this is the fundamental, I just want you to get this. So What you could do now is on the lady's mask itself, you see that if we try to use the brush to erase from the mask, it erases the one inside, which is not what we want. So we have to invert the selection. To invert the selection, you could select any selection tool. You could use W, which is the quick selection tool, or L, which is the lasso tool, and then you could select inverse. And what that does is it allows you to select outside this current selected place. So now we could just go in and with our black brush, just remove this, you see? And just like that, remember to deselect. So select a selection tool. Also, you could use the lasso tool, which is L on your keyboard, or the quick selection tool, which is W on your keyboard. Right click and select deselect, or you can use the shortcut Control D. And now with a mask, we have her part of her hidden, and so it creates this very nice effect where she's partially hidden but also popping out of the shape. So in case you might have seen this earlier and wondered, oh, how is this possible? Well, this is how. So as a recap, let's a mask, a layer mask, helps to hide things from a current layer. There are two colors for a mask, white and black. White reveals and black hides. So remember, first off, to create this, we had to remove the lady from our background by selecting her, by making a selection of her rather, by using the quick selection tool, and then we created a mask by clicking the layer mask icon here, and next we created a shape, in this case an ellipse, gave it color, moved it below the layer, and then to clip her into this shape while retaining some of her body outside the shape, all we had to do was load this shape as a selection. So what we had to do was control click the thumbnail. So anytime you control click the thumbnail of a layer, it loads whatever is inside that layer as a selection. And then all we had to do was select inverse of the selection, and then using a black brush on the lady's layer mask to hide that lower part. And now we have this very fancy um, effect here. So this is how to correctly do this. um, if you like this tutorial, please let me know, and leave some comment below. What topics would you like me to make tutorials on? I plan to make more Photoshop as well as Figma tutorials in the nearest future. And so if you appreciate this video, please leave a like and also consider subscribing, as it helps the channel grow and for others too to see videos like this. Thank you very much. My name is Golden, and I'll see you in the next one.